Hello everybody, JGC Anime here, and today we are going to be reviewing Spy X Family Part 2 of the first season. So yeah, let's just hop right into this. So, how does Part 2 of Spy X Family start? Or we're going to refer to it as Spy Family, since I'm pretty sure that's how most people refer to it. It starts with Anya, Lloyd, and Yor trying to go find a dog for Anya. And it leads towards this spiral of events that eventually leads towards them getting their new dog, Bond, who we might discuss later in this review, I don't know. This is all just kind of like on the fly, so we'll just see how it goes. And yeah, that's how it starts. A lot of really fun events ensue. Some slice of life stuff's a lot of fun too. And yeah, let's just talk about it all. So, hopping into spoiler-free thoughts, I had a great time with this second part. I wasn't too sure if the first part was just entertaining for me and maybe the second part wouldn't be as good, but nope, I had a good time with this part as well. The comedy still stuck really well. The wholesomeness just really made me smile, and overall, everything just was so solid, especially the spy parts in this, because there's a lot more spy stuff this part, and it was so much fun. I loved seeing Lloyd and his group of people just do all their spy stuff. It was super entertaining. Even the new stuff that happened later in the season became one of my favorite parts, and we'll go into that probably in the spoiler section. And overall, everything about this was just really good. I had such a great time during both the Anya and Lloyd scenes especially. Yor doesn't really get too much screen time in this, and that's a bit disappointing. Definitely something I complain about, but when she does like show up and shows off, she is amazing, and that's why she's probably jumped to probably in the top 3 of my favorite characters, right behind probably Anya and Lloyd, which very ironic that my top 3 favorites are all the main characters. But all 3 of them are just so much fun to watch. I have such a great time with them, and they are definitely the highlight of this show. And overall, this whole part, they just really brought so much to the table, and I honestly really love their characters. In terms of the other characters as well, I really enjoyed myself, especially with how the story didn't try to take itself like in too much of a focused direction at times. I originally thought I'd be annoyed by how much slice of life stuff kind of went on, since this is a mix of slice of life as well as action. But surprisingly enough, the action and slice of life stuff really incorporate well with one another, and I found myself really enjoying what I was watching. Every single character for the most part, save for maybe the character Becky, I was really into and thought they were really fun. And honestly, the way this season ended as well, I was really excited for what the future has to come, especially since the announcement of both a movie and a season 2 in the works. So I'm definitely looking forward to those. So overall, without spoiling anything, I thought this was a very solid season. It did a great job with the second part especially, really making me want to see more of this family, and I just had such a great time, and that's why they were just so much fun. Overall, in general, this part was a lot better in a lot of ways, and I found myself enjoying this part way more than the first part. There were a lot more episodes where I really got into it compared to the first part, and I had a good time. And yeah. That's all I can really say now without spoiling, so we're going to hop into the spoiler section of this review. Here is a timestamp to when the spoiler section will conclude. If you have seen Spy Family Part 2, I would recommend sticking around to hear my spoiler thoughts, but if you haven't, I would recommend skipping to this timestamp in order to not get spoiled. But if you have seen it, again, I would recommend sticking around, so let's just hop right into it after I count down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so one of my favorite storylines in this part, in fact it might be my favorite storyline of the whole season, has probably got to be the tennis match with Nightfall, a new character introduced in this part who is like incredibly obsessed with Lloyd or Twilight, and just them having a tennis match to help stop this weird message that turns out to just be a joke in the end. But overall, the tennis match and everything is just weirdly a lot of fun. I wasn't too sure about it when I first heard, like, through clips, because YouTube loves recommending me clips for shows I am holding off on watching until I could binge the whole thing. But I still was a bit unsure about this tennis match going into it, but overall, it was probably my favorite part of the whole season, because it was just so entertaining seeing how much Twilight was trying to focus on the mission, and then you just cut to Nightfall being like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And it's just like this, this constant thing where she just kept saying about how much she was in love with him, and I found it so funny, especially with how when Anya first meets Nightfall, she literally reads her mind, and when she reads that Nightfall says, I love you to Lloyd, which I'm gonna call him Lloyd as well as Twilight, she just like scratches her eye being like, I'm not sure if I heard that right, even though she was reading her mind. And Just the whole thing with Nightfall was probably overall my favorite part of the season, especially the tennis part. Just the tennis part was so entertaining. It was, in my opinion, probably one of the most well-animated parts of this season, and I just had an overall really good time with it, and it just made me laugh the whole time and was having such a great time. And makes me want to see more of Nightfall in the future because she is a fun character. Would I want her to actually get with Lloyd though? No. I find Lloyd and Yor's relationship to be one of the best parts of the show. Even if, in terms of character, Yor really just does not get enough screen time in this series. She has awesome moments that I honestly really love, especially in the beginning of this part where she literally kicks a guy and he bumps into walls like a ping pong ball, and it's just like, it was so funny, and I just thought it was such a great moment. And overall, Yor is just one of the most solid parts of this whole thing, and I really wish she would get more attention because I want to see more of her assassination stuff. Because even though she's talked about being an assassin and we see her killing a little bit, I would like to see like a full-fledged mission with her, and I would love to see how that would play out. But so far, the only things we've gotten are some spy missions with Lloyd and some stuff with Anya at her school about her trying to be friends with Damien even if she doesn't really like him, which Damien is another really big highlight of this part. I found him to be a highly entertaining character. Even though he can be obnoxious at times, he does care about Anya, and they definitely show it. Even though he can be a jerk sometimes, I do like Damien a lot, especially in the final episode where Lloyd finally confronts the biggest threats to him in the series, aka the one he is meant to be meeting with, known as Donovan Desmond, or Desmond Donovan, I don't know. I'll just say Desmond. And honestly, the confrontation between them is one of my favorite parts of the final episode, because the final episode is definitely an episode dedicated towards helping Damien grow as a character, as he finally managed to talk to his father, and we get to learn a bit more about their relationship, and I really appreciated that. And overall, it was a very solid conclusion to an otherwise pretty awesome series, and I'm looking forward to season 2 and the movie. And overall, I really like this show a lot. Is it perfect? No. But as a show to just sit down and enjoy, this is definitely something I really like to enjoy, and I had such a great time with it, especially some parts that really surprised me. Like, when I first heard that they were getting a dog, I thought, I don't know, dog characters usually don't stick with me during this stuff, but I honestly really liked the dog, aka Bond, for the stuff he wasn't. I really liked Bond, especially in like this little after episode thing where he ends up getting jealous of this penguin stuffed animal when it's basically hogging all of Anya's attention. And it's just so funny seeing him get so upset at first, and then after learning that Anya hates him for what he did, he tries to apologize by like giving her peanuts, and it's just Vaughn was such a fun dog, and he doesn't overstay his welcome at times. He understands when and where he belongs, and overall, he is a lot better of a character than I thought he was going to be. I thought he was not going to be a good character at all, but it turns out he was a pretty fun character overall. There is one thing over this whole season, like this whole part, that I kind of am upset about, and that's the interactions between Yuri and Anya. Yuri is a bit weird, I will admit. In fact, he's one of the few characters I'm not too sure about. I don't really love him or hate him, but I want to see more of him to get a read on who he is. And I thought the idea of him and Anya finally getting to actually interact would have been really interesting, but he ends up leaving before they really get to know each other too well, at least from my eyes, because he was only there for like 5 to 8 minutes of the episode that he popped in for, which he's in more of the season, but he's mainly in that one episode. And I really honestly wish we could have seen him interact with Anya more, because I would have liked to see more from that. But that's just how it is. Sometimes you win some, you lose some, and he got decent screen time for that one episode, but overall, he definitely could have been a more brought-in character. Like, he could have been more into the series, but he's not. He's just there. You know, the big syscon, it's fine. He's just there. And as I mentioned before, Nightfall, who was a newly introduced character, really stole the show for me as a very funny character. While I didn't really like her when she was in serious mode, once she started obsessing over Twilight, I honestly could not stop laughing at how she sounded and how she reacted to everything he did. It was just so funny. And she really did a great job making me kind of feel bad for her character, because we know she's not going to get with Lloyd in the end. We know that Lloyd is going to end up probably with, more than likely, Yor, who, again, really like her character, wish she got more screen time. And I think overall this season and this part especially just did a really good job of showing why I enjoy this show so much and why I really like the characters. Although, I don't really know how I feel about the opening. The opening isn't bad. In fact, I think both the opening for this part is really good. I think their name is Bump of Chicken. I think their band is really good. I watched their Pokemon song that they did for that one Pokemon animation. It was really fun to watch. And this song was really good too. It's just, when I hear the premise for Spy X Family, the theme didn't fit at first. It did eventually. In fact, by the end, I was really bopping my head to it because I just thought, oh man, this is such a good theme. But at the start, it just didn't feel right. But it wasn't like that time with the Attack on Titan opening for its 3rd season, where I just felt like the opening didn't fit at all, which was the first opening of the 2. I just felt like it didn't fit at all. But this one, it does fit. It just takes time to get used to, and I ended up liking it in the end. And overall, it did add to the feels, and I really liked it. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say about this. So, we're at the conclusion of this video, and what are my final thoughts? Awesome season. With this second part really bringing season 1 together, it was an awesome season, and I'm looking very much forward to both the movie and season 2. I am very excited, and that's why I give Spy X Family, or Spy Family, Part 2, a 9 out of 10. I ran into a few awkward moments here and there that I wasn't into, but overall had a very good time, and I am very happy with it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next with Lloyd, Yor, and Anya, since their adventures are an absolute blast. And yeah, that's all I have to say, so thank you all for watching. If you're new to the JGC Anime channel, don't forget to subscribe. I always welcome new anime fans to the channel. And yeah, I will see you all around. Peace!